Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. If you're walking down the right path and you're willing to keep walking, eventually you'll make progress. We, the people, recognize that we have responsibilities as well as rights, that our destinies are bound together. That a freedom which only asks what's in it for me, a freedom without a commitment to others, a freedom without love or charity or duty or patriotism, is unworthy of our founding ideals, and those who died in their defense. The future rewards those who press on. I don't have time to feel sorry for myself. I don't have time to complain. I'm going to press on. If the people cannot trust their government to do the job for which it exists, to protect them and to promote their common welfare, all else is lost. In a world of complex threats, our security and leadership depends on all elements of our power, including strong and principled diplomacy. Our higher education system is one of the things that makes America exceptional. There's no place else that has the assets we do when it comes to higher education. People from all over the world aspire to come here and study here, and that is a good thing. Now, as a nation, we don't promise equal outcomes, but we were founded on the idea everybody should have an equal opportunity to succeed, no matter who you are, what you look like, where you come from. You can make it. That's an essential promise of America. Where you start should not determine where you end up. We cannot continue to rely only on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well-funded. It was the labor movement that helped secure so much of what we take for granted today. The 40-hour work week, the minimum wage, family leave, health insurance, Social Security, Medicare, retirement plans. The cornerstones of the middle-class security all bear the Union label. It's not surprising, then, they get bitter, they cling to guns or religion or antipathy to people who aren't like them, or anti-immigrant sentiment or anti-trade sentiment as a way to explain their frustrations. I see Americans of every party, every background, every faith to believe that we are stronger together. Black, white, Latino, Asian, Native American, young, old, gay, straight men, women, folks with disabilities. All pledging allegiance under the same proud flag to this big, bold country that we love. That's what I see. That's the America I know. In the end, that's what this election is about. Do we participate in a politics of cynicism or a politics of hope? We need to steer clear of this poverty of ambition, where people want to drive fancy cars and wear nice clothes and live in nice apartments but don't want to work hard to accomplish these things. Everyone should try to realize their full potential. A good compromise, a good piece of legislation, is like a good sentence or a good piece of music. Everybody can recognize it. They say, it works, it makes sense. It was not a religion that attacked us that September day, it was Al-Qaeda. We will not sacrifice the liberties we cherish or hunker down behind walls of suspicion and mistrust. What I'm asking for is hard. It's easier to be cynical, to accept that change is impossible, and politics is hopeless, and to believe that our voices and actions don't matter. But if we give up now, then we forsake a better future. No party has a monopoly on wisdom. No democracy works without compromise. But when Governor Romney and his allies in Congress tell us we can somehow lower our deficit by spending trillions more on New tax breaks for the wealthy. Well, you do the math. I refuse to go along with that, and as long as I'm president, I never will. I don't oppose all wars. What I am opposed to is a dumb war. What I am opposed to is a rash war. We have real enemies in the world. These enemies must be found, they must be pursued, and they must be defeated. So long as I'm Commander-in-Chief, we will sustain the strongest military the world has ever known. When you take off the uniform, we will serve you as well as you've served us, because no one who fights for this country should have to fight for a job, or a roof over their head, or the care that they need when they come home. I just want to go through Central Park and watch folks passing by, spend a whole day watching people. I miss that. It's time to fundamentally change the way that we do business in Washington, to help build a new, transparent, and more creative, that will demand new thinking and a new sense of responsibility for every dollar that is spent. Foundation for the 21st century, we need to reform our government so that it is more efficient, more. We know that the nation that goes all in on innovation today will own the global economy tomorrow. This is an edge America cannot surrender. I miss Saturday morning, rolling out of bed, not shaving, getting into my car with my girls, driving to the supermarket, squeezing the fruit, getting my car washed, taking walks. We worship an awesome God in the blue states, and we don't like federal agents poking around our libraries. In the red states, we coach Little League in the blue states and have gay friends in the red states. My fellow Americans, we are and always will be a nation of immigrants. We were strangers once, too. Understand, our police officers put their lives on the line for us every single day. They've got a tough job to do to maintain public safety and hold accountable those who break the law. I believe marriage is between a man and a woman. I am not in favor of gay marriage, but when you start playing around with constitutions, just to prohibit somebody who cares about another person, it just seems to me that's not what America is about. Usually, our constitutions expand liberties, they don't contract them. Focusing your life solely on making a buck shows a certain poverty of ambition. It asks too little of yourself. Because it's only when you hitch your wagon to something larger than yourself that you realize your true potential. There is not a liberal America and a conservative America, there is the United States of America. There is not a Black America and a white America and Latino America and Asian America, there's the United States of America. It took a lot of blood, sweat and tears to get to where we are today, but we have just begun. Today we begin in earnest. The work of making sure that the world we leave our children is just a little bit better than the one we inhabit today. We proved that we are still a people capable of doing big things and tackling our biggest challenges. We need to internalize this idea of excellence. Not many folks spend a lot of time trying to be excellent. We need to internalize this idea of excellence. Not many folks spend a lot of time trying to be excellent. The foreign students, the Chicanos, the Marxist professors and structural feminists and punk rock performance poets. The thing about hip-hop today is it's smart, it's insightful. The way they can communicate a complex message in a very short space is remarkable. I've got 2 daughters, 9 years old and 6 years old. I am going to teach them first of all about values and morals, but if they make a mistake, I don't want them punished with a baby. Let us remember we are all part of one American family. We are united in common values, and that. Let us remember we are all part of one American family. We are united in common values, and that. Take off your bedroom slippers, put on your marching shoes, he said, his voice rising as applause and cheers mounted. Shake it off, stop complaining, stop grumbling, stop crying, we are going to press on, we have work to do. I've got a pen and I've got a phone, and I can use that pen to sign executive orders and take executive actions and administrative actions that move the ball forward. The internet didn't get invented on its own. Government research created the internet so that all the companies could make money off the internet. The point is that when we succeed because of our individual initiative, but also because we do things together. Even when folks are hitting you over the head, you can't stop marching. Even when they're turning the hoses on you, you can't stop. If you were successful, somebody along the line gave you some help, somebody helped to create this unbelievable American system that we have that allowed you to thrive. Somebody invested in roads and bridges. If you've got a business, you didn't build that, somebody else made that happen. We need to reject any politics that targets people because of race or religion. This isn't a matter of political correctness, it's a matter of understanding what makes us strong. The world respects us not just for our arsenal, it respects us for our diversity and our openness and the way we respect every faith. We have an obligation and a responsibility to be investing in our students and our schools. We must make sure that people who have the grades, the desire and the will, but not the money, can still get the best education possible. We need somebody who's got the heart, the empathy, to recognize what it's like to be a young teenage mom, the empathy to understand what it's like to be poor or African American, or gay or disabled or old, and that's the criterion by which I'll be selecting my judges. We didn't become the most prosperous country in the world just by rewarding greed and recklessness. We didn't come this far by letting the special interests run wild. We didn't do it just by gambling and chasing paper profits on Wall Street. We built this country by making things, by producing goods we could sell. The fact that we are here today to debate raising America's debt limit is a sign of leadership failure. America has a debt problem and a failure of leadership. Americans deserve better. I, therefore, intend to oppose the effort to increase America's debt. I believe in American exceptionalism, just as I suspect that the Brits believe in British exceptionalism and the Greeks believe in Greek exceptionalism. There is probably a perverse pride in my administration that we were going to do the right thing, even if short-term it was unpopular, and I think anybody who's occupied this office has to remember that success is determined by an intersection in policy and politics, and that you can't be neglecting of marketing and PR and public opinion. When we think of the major threats to our national security, the first to come to mind are nuclear proliferation, rogue states and global terrorism. But another kind of threat lurks beyond our shores, one from nature, not humans, an avian flu pandemic. There's not a liberal America and a conservative America, there's the United States of America. I think what you're seeing is a profound recognition on the part of the American people that gays and lesbians and transgender persons are our brothers, our sisters, our children, our cousins, our friends, our co-workers, and that they've got to be treated like every other American, and I think that principle will win out. Cutting the deficit by gutting our investments in innovation and education is like lightening an overloaded airplane. By removing its engine, it may make you feel like you're flying high at first, but it won't take long before you feel the impact. With the changing economy, no one has lifetime employment, but community colleges provide lifetime employability. After 2014, we will support a unified Afghanistan as it takes responsibility for its own future. I know that campaigns can seem small, and even silly. Trivial things become big distractions. Serious issues become sound bites, and the truth gets buried under an avalanche of money and advertising. If you're sick of hearing me approve this message, believe me, so am I. We can choose a future where we export more products and outsource fewer jobs. After a decade that was defined by what we bought and borrowed, we're getting back to basics, and doing what America has always done best. We're making things again.